Hey, Mike Callahan here. Want to make a quick video talking about foundational business strategies and why it's essential in your service business. I'm hanging out here on a construction site of a design build job. And before I actually get into foundational strategy, a lot of businesses, especially in the landscape business, will go out and spend a lot of time on a jobs like this and actually lay down a foundation. And as you're kind of looking at it here behind me, the contractor's doing it right. They're putting at least a foot of foundation of crusher run in there. And this is going to basically support this patio through the years as it goes in, especially in the Northeast where we have melt and freezing and refreeze. So this is going to keep that foundation of the patio set, and which is really crazy. In most service businesses, we don't spend the time to create a foundational strategy. We just go out and start doing it. But when we're doing a job like this for our clients, we'll do what we need to do to set the foundation for a long-lasting success that's predictable. So a strategy in our business is really taking our prospects, our clients from one state to another. So how do we take a prospect from a lead to a client, and then a client to, say, an upsell process where if they're using a core service and then based on a certain time of the year, we upsell an ancillary service like aeration and overseeding in the lawn care industry. So the idea here is we want to have a foundational business strategy going in. So a lot of service businesses are going to go out and rely on word of mouth or some haphazard marketing process, but they don't have a strategy to start from a flyer going out to someone calling for an estimate. How do we fulfill that estimate? How do we close that estimate through an automated or manual follow-up? So we want to talk about the strategy to get your prospects or leads or clients from one state to a desired state. And the state that I'm going to focus on right now, or at least the desired state in pretty much all service businesses right now, as we go into the fall, we're in a Q4 of 2020, we're looking at our clients and how can we go in and raise their client lifetime value. And what we want to do is take them from a strategy of taking them from a client to an additional service in your fold that you're offering. So what I'm going to recommend in the lawn care and landscape industry right now is we want to be going on upselling our ancillary services such as aeration and overseeding, holiday lights, fall cleanups, all these things to raise that client lifetime value. If you're in home cleaning, we're going to go from our regular recurring cleaning to upsell an additional one-time deep clean or additional services like fridge clean out or stove cleaning for the holiday season coming on. But the idea is if we don't have a strategy in place, these things are never going to happen. So just like the landscape contractor here on this job, he's taking the time to go in and lay 12 inches of foundational strategy or base to make sure the lifetime of this patio is going to last. We also really need to go into our service business and lay down some strategy and foundational plans for success. So what I'm going to recommend is if you haven't put a strategy or a roadmap together here in Q4, take some time and list all the services that you're currently providing on a reoccurring or one-time basis that people have already signed up for, and what would be a natural progression. So maybe we're doing fertilization and weed control, and there's perimeter pests that we can do the same time we're there. Or we're doing lawn care, we can do aeration and overseeding at the same visit. So we're trying to figure out what can we do is take a status of a normal client and upsell an additional service to raise that client lifetime value. But that's not going to happen unless we have a strategy in place and then put a process and system behind it, predominantly an automated one, because we're too busy, honestly, to follow through to make that happen. So the video today is, most service businesses are laying a foundation just like the landscape here below me. But when it comes to their own business and success, they're doing it haphazardly. They're just going out and looking at word of mouth or haphazard marketing, and they have no way to take that lead to a client and then that client upsell them to raise the client lifetime value. So the challenge today is go out, create a strategy, put it on pen and paper, and what it looks like from each state to the next desired state. And then how do we put a process and system around that to make sure what should happen happens each and every time without the business owner having to remember to do it or babysit someone to do it. So I'm going to be diving in deep this week about how to create a foundational strategy of taking everybody in your business, whether it's a lead or a client, and getting them to the next desired state, and then putting a process and system in place for all the desired perfect paths and then the not so perfect paths. So what if we're going out to upsell our aeration and overseeding or holiday deep clean, and we go through an email, but people aren't opening that email? So maybe we're going to follow up with automated text messaging and phone calls, or if we don't want to make the phone calls, we follow up with a ringless voicemail bomb. But what is the strategy from one state to another, and what's a process and system that we can deploy for predictable results day in and day out to raise client lifetime values and increase bottom line profits? So comments, questions, drop them below. But I wanted to make a quick video here because looking at this construction site, I mean, this contractor is obviously taking some time to lay a foundational strategy for success down the line by putting 12 inches of base in here and foundation, where most business owners are not putting the time in to create their own base to build off of, and creating a strategy to take clients from one state to another and then systematically work off that base in a process to raise client lifetime value. And the companies are getting it right now. In the service industry already have this strategy in place, and they're creating an automated system to continue and double down on that success. A couple people in the Service Autopilot Academy, especially the Elite Academy, have gone in and really taken this upsell idea and process, created a strategy around it, and then implemented a process, especially in fertilization and weed control, to upsell perimeter pest, mosquito control, fire ant control, depending where you're at in the country. And these companies are now performing 4 or 5 services every time they stop at a property, and they're eliminating any of that downtime mobilization, and they're increasing bottom line profits exponentially. But that would have never happened if they didn't have a strategy foundationally and then have a process to actually go out and upsell those services. And then the next process would be building upon a strategy of how do we take our clients, of a client that just had a service, so that's a state, and take them to the next desired state of being happy and reviewing our services. So a lot of people are using different review softwares or different processes to take the desired state of a happy client and get them to the status of leaving an online review. And that has been pretty essential for today's buying habits. So it's not only for the sales process, but it could be for social reviews. These are strategies and processes that probably need to be built into your employee recruiting, training, and onboarding as well. So take a look at your strategies foundationally, and then how do we build processes and systems around them for success. So comments, questions, drop them below. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook.